days after the US issued a travel advisory for India, urging citizens to exercise caution over rising crime and sexual violence. A 30-year-old French tourist was allegedly raped in Rajasthan's Udaipur.
But I'm back from Indonesia, and while I was there, the first headline I read there actually, that America has said that you have to be very cautious about traveling to India, especially warns women. Over the last 10 years, our national imagination has been a lot about India competing with the West. There's not a single city in India, I feel, that is as clean as Ho Chi Minh. Something really strikes you is that this whole thing of beating Japan, fourth largest economy, our standards of living are simply no match.
So here's the interesting thing. Forget Goa. Bali probably gets as many tourists as India does.
As all of India, yeah.
Goa, the whole thing is the moment you land, you feel like everyone's out there to fleece you.
When you look at the public infrastructure, roads, even transport, it just seems that we need to learn more from Asian countries than look anywhere else. And I think we're not doing that enough.
The fact that Bali now drives a lot of tourism, most of its money comes from tourism, but also it is over tourismized to the extent where it is suffering. Like Lombok is now...
The sad part is, and I mean, I've spoken about this extensively over the years, is that in a country like India, tourism can be a great job creator if we do it well.
If you go to Bastar in the monsoon, it will look better than the Scotland. It will look better than any part of the world.
But no one stares at you, no one looks at you. You're never worried about being catcalled or being, followed, which often happens to women in Goa, Kerala.
I would argue that we're getting caught in some sort of elite trap where we're saying, why is the tourist in India unsafe where the tourist abroad is safe? But that is an India problem. No, India is unsafe for everybody, and that is why it's unsafe for tourists.
But as we record this show, at least 63 people have died and dozen more are missing in Himachal Pradesh because of cloudburst, flash flood, landslide. 63 is an alarming number.
101 millimeter in June is the average of Himachal, but in Mandi district only in 24 hours we recorded more than 200 millimeter rain. River did not come to us, we went to river. And when we said we, it means the authorities allowed the hotel walas, the construction, all kind of activities on the riverbank. The linear projects in this country are being made with the minimum scrutiny. Linear projects, when I say it means the roads. The roads are being built when there is no roads are required.
There's one thing which I have been seeing, which is constant for the past 37 years, that is Minto Bridge, which always gets flooded with a bus.
And there's always a picture of
always
it.
Always a picture. 37 years, I have not missed even a single year the picture of that.
But we do everything to facilitate a disaster.
And then we throw up our hands and say, oh my God,
facilitate the disaster and make sure the disaster hits worse because the ground conditions are even more.
Welcome to Chhota Hafta. Now, Chhota Hafta is but a small, Chhota version of a complete weekly podcast, Newslaundry Hafta. The Newslaundry Hafta is where you get the week's news, what made the headlines, what didn't make the headlines, but the full version is available to subscribers only. And I don't mean YouTube subscribers, although YouTube subscribers are also very welcome, very, very grateful to you, but also to Newslaundry subscribers, the paying subscribers who pay to keep news free. So you can also become a paying subscriber by clicking the subscription link. Now, what do you get if you're a paying subscriber? You get access to all our paywall content, all interviews, podcasts, and importantly, you get access to a full unedited Hafta, where you not only get to hear the week's news, but you get to hear the Newslaundry editors' positions on matters. You get to see their biases, what are their prejudices. It's an exercise in transparency while also informing you, and we have a few quips and jokes and agreements and disagreements thrown in. So listen to the full Hafta, subscribe to Newslaundry, and pay to keep news free. Here we go.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. I'm going to be a host for this week because Abhinandan is out and about. So you shall bear with me for the next 2 hours as we talk about some very interesting things. Not necessarily super newsy stuff. I have a interesting topic that I want to discuss with everyone today. We have 2 amazing guests joining us. Vivek Kaul, of course, you've read his bylines on Newslaundry, and Hridayesh Joshi, a very I don't want to call him usual guest because that makes him sound too usual, but our
A very
regular
dear part of NL.
dear part of NL and a very regular guest on Charcha. He's also been on the Hafta. You've also seen a lot of his reporting on Newslaundry. And yes, the reason why he's here is because we have awful news coming in from Himachal Pradesh yet again about how floods have completely destroyed parts of Mandi and other parts of Himachal. So we'll be discussing that with them. Both of them aren't in the studio yet. But we do have Raman sir in the studio with us.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you. And we
Thank
have
you.
Jayashree joining us from Chennai.
Hello, hello. May
Hi.
I say, Raman sir and I are also two amazing guests this week. So
Too amazing, not
Thank
so
you, thank
usual. Hafta is now behind the paywall. You've enjoyed it for free for a very long time, but now you have to pay to keep news free and pay to access NL Hafta. Your subscription can get you to listen to this amazing podcast. We also have another Let's Talk About episode out, Jayashree. Do you want to just advertise it for like a quick second of how amazing it is and how everyone should kind of...
yes, because you all know that we've been talking about trans issues for a while on Hafta, and every
Yeah.
time we do it, we get a lot of letters from people saying, well, it's quite uninformed, or you're saying things that have no context, or you're talking about things but you don't actually have any trans voices in the room. And then this happened for a while, and we kept thinking that, yeah, we should do something about it. Finally, two incredible subscribers got in touch with us, Prithvi and
Yay.
Jayashree, and they said, we will help you do this. We will help you put together a panel. So we were like, yes, we must do it. So we did it over 2 recordings in December and then a couple of months later. And the final product is now out. It is produced by the incredible Priyali, who also produces Hafta. So please, please, please listen. It was like a privilege to be able to sit through it, to ask them a lot of questions, and for them to really take the time to sort of explain their own lives to us in ways that we'll understand.
How
So it's called
lovely.
Let's Talk About Trans Lives. You must listen to it, and you must make other people listen to it. So
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So with your subscription, you can listen to NL Hafta. You can listen to Let's Talk About. The latest episode is out, like Jayashree said. It's a really fabulous episode, so do tune into it. And of course, you get to support Newslaundry's work, our reporting, our shows. Everything we do here is powered by you guys. So please step up, pay. You get some good content, and you also get to feel good about supporting independent media. We have a Senna project out also, which should be in by the next week. The reporting of it has been done. It's on the e-waste menace in India. It's going to be a very in-depth investigation.
So it is going to have 2 chapters. One is north and the other is the south. And we intend to do about 5 to 6 stories. This is about the e-waste management. All the big companies like LG, Samsung, all of them have to, get some carbon certificates by, reprocessing and by the e-waste. So there are many companies which are processing this e-waste. So the CPCB, which is the nodal agency, has fixed a rate of rupees 22 a kg for processing these say e-waste like refrigerator, television, all those things. So there is a fight over this pricing part of it, and we have found a kind of scam.
Oh.
So we have hit a scam, and that's what our colleague is working on. So I think the north chapter is more or less done, but the south we still have to go. So it's an ongoing project.
Yeah.
But
and
5 stories are going to come very soon.
And usually our subscribers always say, why don't you do environment stories? Why don't you look at all this? We are, but when we raise money for it, we always fall short. So right now I'm looking at our website. We wanted to raise 6,05,000 for this. We've only raised 2 lakh. Guys, if you want certain stories, then put your money behind them. So support this NL Senna project. Our reporter's been on the ground, and I promise it's going to be worth your time and your investment. Let's get the headlines, Jayashree. Usually on Hafta, we discuss a very big, important, sort of a serious news issue. We've had quite a bit this time. There's CORD, there's the BRICS summit. But it's also summer. Everyone's planning vacations. And I'm just back from a vacation. And while
we're all looking at you very bitterly because we have not gone on vacation
no
yet.
one's gone on vacation
So,
yet, but I'm back from Indonesia, and I was there for 10 days. And while I was there, the first headline I read there actually that America has said that you have to be very cautious about traveling to India, especially warns women of violent crimes, sexual crimes. Terrorism, I'm guessing, is because of Pahalgam, but there's a warning that's gone out, which made me curious to look at the numbers of the Indian tourists coming here. And I wanted to compare them with Indonesia, compare them with Vietnam. Numbers are quite stark. We get about 9 million. Tourism sector in India represents about 5% of our GDP. When you look at Vietnam, its tourism to GDP ratio is 12%. Indonesia gets about, I don't have the GDP figures, but they get about, pre-COVID numbers were about 11 million. So nowhere close to India.
Yesterday, I looked up some numbers, and it was very, very interesting that in 2024, Bali got around a little over 6 million foreign tourists.
Okay.
In 2023, they had gotten around 5 million, a little over 5 million. So here's the interesting thing. Forget Goa. Bali probably gets as many tourists as India does.
As all of India.
All of
Yeah.
India. So as you said, India gets around 9 to 10 million. So, the latest set of numbers which is available is where the breakdowns available is 2023. So in 2023, we got 9.5 million tourists. Now, all of them were not, but if you look at these tourist destinations, the primary way that economy makes money is through tourism. So, and, the sad part is, and I mean, I've spoken about this extensively over the years, is that in a country like India, tourism can be a great job creator if we do it well.
Yeah.
But somehow
it's right there in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, take something like the Taj Mahal, right? I mean, which everyone who comes to India, almost everyone wants to go to. But the entire process of getting into Taj Mahal can get so convoluted at times.
And exhausting. So,
see, these are little things that need to be taken care of. And I mean, the fact that I had a very funny experience at the Qutub Minar a couple of years back. So we have this, foreign pricing and domestic pricing. So I was in the domestic line and this security guard came up to me and started talking to me in English. And so basically he thought, given the color of my skin, and I don't know why, but he just thought I'm Italian. So then I should pay the foreign rates. So then I had to talk to him in my Bihari tone, Kaun Jilaba. So then
you didn't go, Mamma Mia, no.
I would argue that we're getting caught in some sort of elite trap where we're saying, well, why is the tourist in India unsafe where the tourist abroad is safe? But that is an India problem. No, India is unsafe for everybody, and that is why it's unsafe for tourists. If India was a safer place for the poor, the marginalized, the women, the oppressed, the whatever who lived here, then you can make it safer. I feel there's no way in which you can make it safe for a tourist and then let everybody else get fucked. Like that.
No. I completely agree with that. Which is why I say that women on public spaces, you don't see them here.
When we talk about things like dirt, I mean, I know I'm very repetitive about this, but I would say caste is the main driver that makes India so dirty, right? Because the wealthy are the greatest producers of waste, and the wealthier you are, the more waste you're producing, and
but I
don't give a shit, right? And also, I feel civic infrastructure is wildly underfunded as a result of this entire system. Even in top cities like Chennai and Bombay and Delhi, civic staff are so criminally underpaid. And this all feeds into the fact as to why I think India is so hostile to tourists, because India is very hostile to its own population. So
in India also, we talk about Goa, we talk about Agra, Taj Mahal, all this is right. But since you spoke about generating employment and all these things, I have traveled in the rural and poorer parts of India. They are most beautiful and they can be developed. Wonderful tourist destination. People are they receive you with open arms. Like if you go to Bastar in the monsoon, it will look better than the Scotland. It will look better than any part of the world. And it is cheaper and you can develop it as a tourist destination. You go to Mandu in Madhya Pradesh, closer to Indore. You come to some part of Uttarakhand. It's a bad example because it is totally full with domestic tourists and we do not have. I'll come to the sanitation part because India has, for long, we have made one caste very, very legitimate thing, which a point made by Jayashree. But another is we always say that, we are too much, the population is too high.
We're too many people.
In 2009, I was in China in Beijing, and Beijing's Chandni Chowk is called Hutung, that kind of area, and this very populated area. It was so clean.
Just as a journalist, do you see this getting worse over the past 10 years? This sort of rampant infrastructure with very little regard about environmental norms or where you're building, how you're building? Or is this just a gradual thing that we've been seeing in India and it's now reached its sort of pinnacle?
We are encroachers. We are, the corruption and encroachment, this is playing big part in hampering our tourism activities.
And in these 37 years, I don't know how many times I have read that 10,000 crores spent on Yamuna for cleansing and Ganga.
No, but I remember you had gone in 2023 to Himachal for
Yes.
Newslaundry. You
Yes.
covered the exact same crisis there. Flooding, complete devastation. Again, Himachal is one of those tourist destinations in India which get a lot of people. But I think large parts of those sections have also been very heavily impacted and destroyed roads, infrastructure. So why is this happening again and again, Hridayesh, in Himachal?
A river is healthy when the catchment is healthy. It means when the rain happens, catchment holds the rain. This is the job of the catchment, and it releases slowly in the river so that there is no flooding and the river remains healthy in all over the year. But because we have destroyed the catchment by making constructions, cutting the jungles, destroying the wetlands, everything, so catchment now doesn't hold the excessive rain. It has no power to hold it because we have kind of destroyed it, diluted it totally. So
बस मुफ्त में इतना ही मिलेगा. For the full uncut podcast, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free. The best way to listen to the Hafta and indeed all our podcasts is through the Newslaundry app. You can download the app by clicking on the links given in the show notes. So do download our app and get the best podcast experience. And also pay for news and support a new news media ecosystem that Newslaundry is trying to encourage, where we are accountable to you because we run on contributions that you make. We don't take government ads, we don't take corporations ads, so that news serves the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Subscribe to Newslaundry, click on the link in the show notes below and proudly say, I pay to keep news free.